Welcome everybody to this special edition of Soulful Sessions. I am continuing with the Mindful Men series, and with me today is a very special guest. I'm going to give you an official introduction to him, but I will first start with my introduction. I am Amalia Natalia with Karmic Kindness, and I'm going to be sharing the Mindful Men series with you all for us to have a little bit of a sense of how men think, what they feel about mindfulness, what is it, and we're touching in on every decade, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So this special guest I have in front of me today is Misha Guseynov, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. I have a little bio that I'd like to share with you. Misha emigrated to the United States from Russia to pursue the American dream. He earned his bachelor's degree and MBA in entrepreneurship while in the US and currently owns a successful photography and videography business, Quality Media, located in South Florida. And for those of you who follow me, just as a little footnote on social media or have popped over to my website at any time, I would say 95% of the photos you see out of me are taken by Misha and Quality Media. His business experience is an asset to his work, while his creativity shines through with his many projects, whether it's a wedding, videos for online course creation, birthday parties, engagement shoots, or simply capturing family shy smiles for their holiday cards. Okay, in every episode, I talk about the guest's sun, moon, and rising sign. So Misha,
yes.
I think you already know that you are a Capricorn Sun, a Taurus moon, and a Pisces rising.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those of you who are tuning in, what that means is Capricorn, Taurus, and Pisces are all feminine signs. Mm-hmm. Capricorn and Taurus are both earth signs. Pisces is a water sign. So they're, Capricorn is definitely very grounded, very much a hard worker. Really, when you have something in your head that you want to achieve, you are going to really work hard to attain that goal. Mm-hmm. A Taurus moon is, very sensitive as far as your surroundings. However, you like nice surroundings. You like to be around luxury. You like nice things. You enjoy food. You like to be comfortable. Those things are important. And then Pisces rising, that's a different type of sensitivity. That's you're able to pick up on other people's emotions, make them feel comfortable, which I think is an asset to your work, being able to engage with people. And a lot of people, I would assume, don't like having their picture taken. So you're able to bring that sense of comfort and ease so they can get a photo that they're happy with in the end. Okay. And then Misha is known for saying everything happens for the best. And I know that is something that he and I talk about he says to me fairly often. And, my spin on that is everything happens for a reason or a purpose. So it's kind of, if we put the two together, it's like feel good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so welcome, Misha, to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So just a little footnote for everyone here. I do know Misha actually fairly well, since he is my guy. You may have seen his cameo appearance on a couple of episodes of Soulful Sessions. He's popped in on some live. So he is officially on as an actual guest today. And I'm so happy you're here, babe.
Yeah, thank you for having me once again.
All right. So as I open every episode, tell us about an experience, whether it's recent or not so recent, when you just knew it was your soul talking to you.
Well, yesterday we went jet skiing and we were on the sun jet skiing for about an hour. And then we got back to the place where we would turn the jet skis to. My soul was telling me that I'm hungry and I need a nap. So that's exactly what we did. We went to the restaurant located in the same place where we rented the jet skis, had a nice meal, and then got back home and took a nice fat nap. So my soul was telling me I needed to recharge after this extravagant activity.
That's true. That was fun. Was exhausting for sure. But I'm gonna push you a little bit.
Okay.
To go a little deeper beyond like physical needs. Like
right.
when can you think of like an experience when everything outside says don't do something, or that's crazy, but like you have to, like it's important.
I just purchased a $4,000 course, which want to bring my business even to the next level. And basically what this course covers is how to secure high ticket weddings. Since I'm a photographer and videographer, I would say this is my bread and butter, weddings and other events. And a lot of my friend photographers and videographers tell me, oh, that's a lot of money, that's a scam. But to me, it felt right. I spoke to the guy who runs the show, and he explained to me what the process is, and it made sense to me. And I purchased it, and I already can tell the difference. So it is $4,000, but on the other side, I could have spent this money messing around and just would have lost it another way. But in this way, it's an investment into myself and into the business, because knowledge is the only thing that cannot be taken away from you unless you have some kind of a disease that encourages you to forget things. But yeah, that would be one of those examples when I thought it was right. A lot of people told me not to do it. I still did it, and I'm very happy with my decision.
That's great. And I think it's important too, as a good reminder about investing in ourselves and our business. So, for anyone listening, even if you don't have a business that you own, it's, it would, doing a course or doing some personal development in some way, it's beneficial for you, which may ultimately lead to an opportunity that could, allow you to follow a dream or a passion or grow a current dream or passion, which sounds like that's what you're doing.
Absolutely. And if you're looking to learn how to become a professional photographer and videographer, my company does offer classes. So feel free to reach out and we'll take it from there. And just like Amalia said, do not be afraid to invest into your education.
It's one other footnote that I want to add about Misha too, is that he was also, when he was in his MBA program, was also a, what is it called? A teacher.
Teaching assistant.
Yes, a TA. That's what I was looking for. And, he taught public speaking, worked with kids. He taught some other people outside of the, traditional university system about photography and videography, did some one-on-one things and really honed his skills there. So, he does have that experience. And I think that also translates into your work, being able to be comfortable in front of people, directing people, guiding people. When you're behind the camera and you're attempting to get that shot, you need to tell people exactly what to do and how to do it so that it translates onto the photo. So I think that also speaks to your ability to, to navigate people and your relationships with them and to get them to do what they need to do for the best quality photo, for instance. Okay, so the whole point of this series, Mindful Men, is to talk about what mindfulness or being mindful means to you. So what comes to mind when I say that to you?
Just be respectful of yourself and others. Don't do something that others want you to do if you don't want to do it, just because they have an expectation of you doing it. Just do your own thing and be happy. Don't do what you don't want to do. Do what you want to do, and you will live a happy life.
So how do you do that, though, if you feel like either you have responsibilities or you have obligations or you have this, which a lot of people have, and I feel like I'm guilty of this too, it's like the desire to not disappoint somebody else. So how do you navigate that, like finding that sweet spot between not doing something that you don't want to do and also honoring commitments or not disappointing somebody that's counting on you?
Well, first thing you need to realize, if you think this way, you have self-esteem issues. Took me a second to remember it, and I definitely experienced that because I wanted to make somebody else happy, thinking that this will make me happy because I was afraid of the disapproval or the consequences that come with it. And sometimes I still am afraid. But once you realize that, you understand that life is short and you got to live for yourself, and it will make some other people unhappy. With that being said, if you are committing to something, you have to be clear with your communication if you want to pull out of that commitment. For instance, with photography and videography gigs, if I commit to someone, I take a deposit from them. And if for one reason or another I cannot make it to the photo shoot or video shoot, I let them know as far in advance as I can. I try to find a substitute because I have a team of photographers and videographers. If they're not satisfied with working with somebody else but me, I just refund them the deposit, say I'm sorry, and move on to the next thing. But I would only do it because I have an emergency or something else going on.
Yeah.
Because this is how I make money. So ideally, I would not want to do it, but the situations do arise. For instance, this past Friday, I had 4 photo shoots and 2 people scheduled their photo shoots at the same exact time. And that's exactly what I did. I told them, listen, I cannot make to your photo shoot to one of my clients, but Lucas, one of my gifted photographers, will get it done for you. Is that okay? If he comes instead of me, they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Situation solved. But if they were to be unhappy, I would tell them, listen, I'm sorry, nothing I can do. Here's your money back, and I wish you all the best. I can recommend you somebody else. I wouldn't do something that I'm extremely uncomfortable with, which um, I don't even know what to do in this situation. I guess one of the clients would get upset with me for not showing up at the same time. So there's nothing I can really do about it. Somebody will get upset, and I'm doing my best to resolve the situation, communicate clearly, and provide alternatives or solutions. If this doesn't work out, once again, wish you all the best. Now I have some potential clients who reach out to me and they don't want to pay my quote and they expect a lot of value in return. And I try to explain to them that the work that I'm providing does require a lot of effort. They don't want to hear anything about it because they think photography and videography is a bunch of bullshit and you just gotta click on a button to capture the memory, which to some extent it's true, but I realize that it's a huge red flag and I'll be very disappointed, I'll be upset, and I'll waste a lot of energy if I work with people like that. So I immediately tell them that they'll have better luck finding somebody else. And I'm giving you specific examples, but you can apply this to any other part of your life, whether it's a relationship. You should have I would say you should have expectations of what your partner should look and act like, how he or she should be treating you, and you should clearly state that those are your expectations. And if these expectations are not met, you're not going to be satisfied and you're just going to leave and wish them all the best. Or we did mention work and relationships. So I think these are the most common issues that people are having problems with. So that way you're not trying to change somebody. That's what happens in relationships a lot. You have those expectations, you don't state them, or you do, and the person ignores them, and you try to stay with this person expecting that he or she is going to change and become the person you want. But truth is, it's not going to happen, and you're the one who's going to change because you keep tolerating the behavior, and you will get very upset, depressed, maybe become an alcoholic or a drug addict, and your life expectancy may be much shorter if you live on your own. Now I'm talking about the very specific and depressive way.
Yeah, you went down a whole other path. But I think your point is this, that communication is key in personal relationships, business relationships, just in general, and being very clear as to everyone's expectations. So having expressed exactly what it is you expect of the other person and vice versa, whether it's a business or personal relationship, really can help move you along and both people will be on the same page, which I think is really helpful. When it comes to mindfulness, to kind of bring it back around is, I think it's having that awareness around how you are feeling as well as the other person. It's kind of taking in the whole picture. And then, feeling in for yourself, at least this is my interpretation, feeling in for yourself as to what it is that you can and can't do within that relationship. And just being very, I think it's just like, it's a level of awareness, awareness of how you are feeling, awareness of, it's the best you can interpret the other person's feelings and their beliefs perhaps around a specific topic or subject.
All right. And the one question you may have, what if I don't have specific expectations? What if I don't know what I want? That's totally normal. All you got to do is to try different things. Gary Vee is a famous marketer, and he does love giving a lot of motivational quotes. He helped me a lot back in the day. In your 20s, you usually don't know what you want to do with your life, with your career. So you try everything, and you try and you try, and then at some point you will find out what you don't like, and you stick to the things you do like. So with me, I did try working, starting my career in a corporate life, and I was absolutely miserable. So I realized I do want to be my own boss. And now people do offer me to start working for them full time for their companies as a photographer or a videographer. But I do realize that I will be extremely miserable if I wake up at 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning because I'm a night owl. And I tell them it's not going to work out until you let me come to work late and probably leave late. And most of them say, no, that's not okay with us. And I say, well, thank you for reaching out. And I only learned it by actually doing it. And now I know what I don't want to do with my life. And that is waking up early in the morning, aka 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning, which she's laughing at because to her, it is not her.
That is it. No. But it works out great because then I get up early and do my thing. And then when I go to bed, you can do your thing and it's fine. It works out pretty well. Got a system. I think that's also important, and I know we kind of got off on a relationship tangent, but I think it is important when it comes to relationships with people too. Even if you're very different, you can make it work if you find and you navigate and you communicate what it is that you need. I think you addressed that earlier, and that's particularly important too in the example that you gave about business. Letting the potential employer know, like, I'm more of a night owl. I will get the work done, but it may not be in this 9 to 5 structure, which I think there's more of an openness to that now since COVID than before when people are working from home. All right. So let's just say you're in it. You mentioned a situation recently, you had all these gigs all at once. Okay. So what strategies do you have in place to help you when you're feeling overwhelmed or confused or in a state of like high stress or anxiety?
That does happen a lot because this past Friday when I had 2 gigs scheduled at once, my photographer is not as good of a communicator as I want him to be. And he wouldn't let me know when he talked with the client. He wouldn't let me know when he was on his way. And he wouldn't let me know those specific things which are important for me to know since he's representing my company. And I was pretty anxious about it. But then I thought, this is a very small gig in the grand scheme of things. It's not as important. And then what I do, I imagine the worst possible scenario. And the worst possible scenario would be in that case, my photographer just wouldn't show up. And in that situation, I would return a deposit to the client, apologize, and would probably offer him a free session at a different date. It wouldn't be as ideal, but at the same time, I would grant him something for free, and that would solve the problem. So basically, whenever I'm stressed, whenever I have a lot of anxiety, I just think, what is the worst possible situation, and how important it is in the grand scheme of things throughout my life. And I realized it was an engagement. The guy was actually proposing to this gal, and to him, it was very important to capture those authentic moments. But I thought, well, listen, if my photographer isn't gonna come, wouldn't get the job done, I could still twist it and make sure that this client would like me later on because of my great communication skills. I'll tell them, listen, she probably wasn't looking too good. She wasn't as prepared because she wasn't aware you're proposing to her. So what I would offer to you is a free of charge professional engagement session where both of you can reenact the proposal. And on top of it, I'll take a lot of great pictures of you. So I would end up spending some extra time, some extra effort, but from people who negatively view my company, I would get raving fans because not only I would offer them a free service, but I would do a great job. I would go above and beyond, and they would love me. So that's mainly the way for me to manage the stress and anxiety, which do happen from time to time, and you do a great job also helping me to get out of that situation by once again thinking what is the worst case scenario that can happen, and then realizing how tiny the percentage is of that happening, because my photographer is actually a very gifted photographer. He's just not good with communication as I would want him to be. And I have communicated with him afterwards. I told him, listen, you need to become a better communicator because it's important for me. But he's a great photographer. He takes his job seriously. He knows that he needs to come and get the job done to get paid. So there are all these factors to show me that the job will get done, but I still get stressed out because of all those fears that arise in my head. And by imagining the worst case scenario and how I can solve it really helps me to get over it. So for instance,
Let me pause you for one second. So what about like when we first met, you had a meditation practice, and I know that hasn't been as active as it was then.
Nope.
But what did you find that it was helpful when you were doing some form of meditation, or attempting at least to just calm your body, calm your mind, just kind of focus in on whatever it is that was weighing on you?
I guess I don't remember much of it, but if you don't know how to handle it, definitely listen to Amalia's advice and try meditating, and maybe that's going to help you out. Yeah, I hear it helps a lot of people. I do want to get into meditation, but I guess I'm just too lazy, and I don't meditate as often as I should.
Okay, well, this will be another thing that we can explore together.
Okay.
Because the one thing about meditation that I think is so great is that for someone who tends to be on the lazier side, you don't have to do much of anything. You're literally sitting and focusing your mind on either a mantra or a sound, like even the sound of the air conditioner, or the ocean, or you can listen to a guided meditation, and you literally can just sit or even lay down. Some meditation purists are like, do not lay down. I don't believe that. I feel like if you meditate, whether you're sitting, standing, walking, doesn't matter. It's just such a great way. It's like a complete reset for you, and allows information to come in, like in that quiet, in that stillness. That's when you may get guidance on this issue in your life.
Well, actually, I have an advice for all your viewers. I don't really like sitting and just not doing anything. Maybe that's an issue in my life that I need to explore, but I do meditate. And I do meditate in a setting that you don't expect one would be meditating.
Okay.
It's when I get a massage. If you know, photography and videography is a very physical job, and my body is extremely tired, so I do get a massage at least once a week. And I've noticed every single time, I'm actually looking forward to every single session, because not only I'm getting my body massaged and all those knots released or whatever the masseuses do to basically make you feel better, but that is the moment when I don't do anything. I'm not fully asleep, but I have recognized that multiple times, that I've recognized multiple times that I am finding solutions to certain issues, or I'm remembering to do things that I usually forget to do when I'm on the move, when I'm doing something, handling some business questions. I'm literally laying down on my stomach or on my back, and he or she is massaging me, and I'm catching myself thinking about all those things, just like Amalia is telling me. The information is flowing toward me, and I think this advice will be helpful to those who are like me, who are not a fan of just sitting down and listening to the AC blasting back and forth. If you're not a fan of that, I recommend you trying to perform in a different activity like getting a massage, and maybe that's going to help you out. Or maybe getting your feet scrubbed, or whatever requires you to just sit down and let somebody else to work on your body. Or maybe if somebody's performing Reiki on you, because I know Amalia does Reiki too. So maybe that will be very helpful to you, because I'm not even quite sure why I don't meditate, to be honest, just like you described it, but I am looking forward for every massage session I have. And I would say one of the reasons for that is the time when I actually don't get to do anything. I'm actually forced to lay down, phone away, nobody's bothering me, nobody's talking to me, and it's just me with my thoughts. Maybe the masseuse will talk to me and I'll respond back with a like shut up and do no. I'm actually, it just depends on my mood. If I'm a bit grumpy, I'm not gonna respond as in as many words to the masseuse. But if I'm feeling like having a conversation, I'll chat with him or her, and then the conversation will slowly fade, and once again I'll get into that meditative state. And the benefit of that is that my massage usually lasts an hour. A meditation session usually lasts 10-15 minutes. If you're an experienced yogi, probably longer than that, like Amalia's. But in my case, I would say the 60-minute meditation session that I get during the massage compensates for all those tiny mini 10-minute sessions that you may get throughout the week. So that's how I handle the meditation part.
I like the way you think about that.
But
however,
okay.
It is kind of a but. The beauty of a regular meditation practice versus a big lump sum one once a week is that it is addressing the things that come up on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
And ideally, meditating for like 2 or 3 minutes several times a day has more benefit than doing a 20-minute session a day, because you're able to, reset yourself, reset your mind, your body, your emotions, your spirit,
Right.
and then be able to navigate what's coming up a little bit better, and tuning into your your physical senses is a great way. So like I could see we're in a massage. You have somebody that's literally manipulating the physical body while also moving energy in your body. And most massage therapists have some sense of energy and have some ability to read it, to feel it, and to move it. And so, I used to believe that massage therapy was just something you do on vacation. Just get a massage while you're on vacation. It's a special treat. Where now it's like part of my, taking care of myself, loving myself, going similarly to you to go and get the massage, because you're getting so much more than just the feel good aspect of a massage, like you said, and you're doing a meditation while you're in there. So
it's a win-win situation.
Triple threat.
And I agree with you. All those mini sessions that you do throughout the week, they help you to handle those situations that arise when you don't know when those will arise. My way of doing things is more of an extreme way. If you're not a fan of meditating and you can't put yourself into meditating for 10-15 minutes a day, but in this way you are kind of forced to do it because you are required not to move for an hour. And what else you have going on but to listen to what's going on in your head. So I guess this is more or less of an extreme way to meditate, and your way is a better way, because the more smaller sessions may be better than one longer one.
Here's the thing though. I think if you're doing it at all, if you're taking that time to really be with your thoughts, I think that's important, even if it's once a week. I think that's just do it. And I'm going to offer you a challenge of the two of us doing a short meditation each day. Just short.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, come on. You will not take me up on that challenge.
Sure.
Okay.
For the sake of this being recorded. I don't know how far we'll get into the challenge, but I'll give it a try.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your
Yeah.
willingness to try. And we'll report back to you all to see if he actually follows through, because I'm skeptical looking at his face right now. All right, so marching on to, now this is, to me, this particular question was actually inspired by you, because
Okay.
there, you know, when we think of masculine and feminine, most people immediately go masculine men, feminine women. Okay, well, in terms of us as human beings, we are dual by nature. Okay, so we have a masculine part of us and a feminine part of us. So, and when I mean masculine, I mean more action oriented, and feminine is more receptive. So it's like the yin and yang, if you will, yin being feminine, yang being masculine. So if you subscribe to the concept of having this masculine and feminine in each of us, regardless if you identify as a man or a woman or whatever, how do you find that? How have you seen this duality play out in your life? Where do you see it for yourself or for others?
I don't fully understand this concept, so I don't think I would have the authority to answer this question correctly. I do think that there's yin and yang in your body, and maybe feminine or masculine is a bit more dominant, but I'm not familiar enough with the concept to.
Well, so the reason that you inspired it is that you are a very, you know, when you look at you, you're a masculine kind of guy. There's nothing that's that somebody would consider feminine. However, when you go deeper into you, you are feminine in that you are a lot more emotional, in tune with your emotions. Where a woman like myself, who, you know, is very petite and very, like, you would kind of in your mind think physically feminine, I'm a lot more action oriented. Let's go, let's get it done. It's like bam, bam, bam. Not at all in tune with my feelings until recently.
Oh, I have a perfect example
to
follow up your words. Yesterday we went jet skiing. I expected this tiny lady to go like 5 miles an hour on a jet ski. And I'm just sitting comfortably on the back of the jet ski, kind of relaxed, kind of holding up to her because that's what you're supposed to do. And then, bam, start going like 30 miles an hour, which is a lot on a jet ski. Maybe you think it's not, but I was jumping on and off. I thought I was going to fall off. So this tiny little lady is built for speed. So yeah, that kind of...
So that is like that masculine part, that more like action go part, you know, and I think that's something that, you know, it requires a little bit of balance in each of us to be able to balance that action part with the receptive part, being able to tune into your feelings and to know. And that kind of goes back to the very first, you know, official question, you know, about mindfulness and communication and doing what feels good to you or feels best for you, is if you have a sense of your feelings, you can tune into how you're actually feeling in the moment, then you can make an informed choice or decision. You can, you know, you can take an appropriate action. But I know for me, it took me a while to be able to wade through all of the masculine parts of me, where it's like it felt very restrictive in nature, where, you know, there were certain things I have to do this. I don't have a choice. It felt very structured and regimented. And when I was able to kind of move through some of that and tune into the actual feeling underneath it, that opened up a whole new way of being and allowed the receptivity that gave me direction to do what I'm doing now, to open up to relationships, to, you know, bring another facet or level to my life that I didn't have before. That's, I think, where you're really good. You have both.
Thank you.
But you actually taught me a lot about tuning into your emotions and going by feeling versus logic. Okay, so that's another way to think of it is, you know, and you mentioned before too about, you know, okay, if there's a situation, something that's stressing me out a bit, you look for a solution. So that's a logic piece of it, but then you also go into a feeling part in other areas of your life. I know, at least with me, within our relationship, there are times that you pick up on the emotions that are at play. You can sense things about me oftentimes before I even realize that they're there, because you have that way about you. It's like an innate. That's the Pisces in your chart. That, deep emotional element that's there. And everybody has some of this. You have some of every quality. Some just need a little bit more nurturing than others. So for you, what I'm saying, what I mentioned about your emotional side, do you feel like that's true? Do you feel like that helps you or hinders you in a way?
Yeah, it helps me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hiding your emotions, you're actually working against yourself, and it builds up that uncomfortable feeling inside yourself, and it builds up, and everyone has different levels of tolerance, but one day or another you're gonna have an emotional outbreak, and that's usually called a mental breakdown. So if you're gonna be holding things in you, it's inevitable for you to have a mental breakdown. And if you want to avoid it, you gotta stay true and honest to yourself, realize how you really feel, tell people around you how they make you feel. And if somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, you tell them. If somebody makes you feel comfortable and good, you also tell them. So they know what they should keep doing or should not. So yeah, I do believe you got to stay true to your emotions.
It's hard though for a lot of people to say when people are making them uncomfortable, even comfortable, but the uncomfortable part, that can be challenging.
I say it right now, and I realize it with my brain and head, but when I am actually in the situation, it is incredibly hard, but it's like a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more you can accomplish with your life. So just give it a try. It's gonna feel really uncomfortable. You're gonna feel hurt, in pain, and or is it your self-esteem gonna go down because you think you're not good enough because you're talking about that stuff. But really, I guess it's the way to salvation and to enjoy a happy life. Because once you start living true to yourself, people who don't respect you and don't appreciate you, they're gonna fall off of from your life, and beautiful people will enter. Just like with my business, once again, when I started it, I still have it sometimes, this feeling, this emotion. Um, when somebody reached out to me, I would take the gig no matter what the price was, and I was doing me a disservice because I was filling up my calendar, but I wasn't getting paid what I'm worth. And I figured out that people who don't pay me the full quote, they tend to be the most difficult clients. People who do, the happiest clients there are, never ask me to re-edit anything. They're just happy with me being there and taking some pictures or videos. But people who don't pay me full quote, they're mean, they demand a lot, and they take my time away that I could have spent on the people who'd actually be happy with me being there. Same thing and anywhere else in every other aspect of your life. If you let people who are mean to you and disrespectful to be in your life, they take the space away from the people who would actually be nice to you and love you to be present in your life. You got to make that choice. You just got to start living by your with alignment with your true self and let everyone know around you. And once again, the wrong thing will fall out and the right thing will take the place of the wrong things that fall out.
That's so true. That is so true. Like when
very meaningful, right? Gotta write this down.
That is true though. When you start to weed out people that are not in alignment with who you really are, you create space for people to come in that are. I mean, it happens over and over again. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. One final question.
Sure.
What rituals, if any, do you have to tune into your soul's voice or bring your soul, quote unquote, online?
Don't really have any rituals. I don't think I'm the right person to answer this question. Just once again, live by those rules. Do what you want to do. Don't do what you don't want to do. And when you were asking this question, the first thing that popped into my head is when you wake up and when you go to bed, just dedicate that time to yourself. Um, I have a flaw when I wake up, the first thing I do, I look at the phone because I love receiving the messages. I love reading through the messages, potential clients or clients reaching out to me, asking questions, or my friends asking me if I want to do something with them. But that's not entirely healthy. My morning ritual on an ideal day, I do grab my phone and I go on YouTube and I listen to some meditation. In Russia, there's a very popular psychiatrist, and then there's a very popular person who um, basically describes all of the things, including law of attraction and whatnot, how to live your life. And what I told you today is a short sum, a very bad short sum of what they preach, because they use the right words and they explain it in a much better way than I did to you. But I think I did a good enough job to kind of put your foot in the door. And I try to listen to their meditations or their lectures covering a variety of topics. And really, whatever I see, I click on, or whatever video I see, whatever topic it is, I click on, and all of them are relevant. Some of them, once again, talk about money, others talk about healthy relationships, others talk about feeling fulfilled, and some even talk about how your brain tries to make sense with everything, but you got to make sure you listen to both your heart and the brain, because your emotions come from your heart and they don't usually make sense. For instance, you may think, okay, I'm going to marry this person because logically speaking, he or she has the money, he or she will provide me support and care that I need, and hopefully he or she will love me. But the priority is safety and security. But your heart or your emotions or your instinct may say, but I feel like I will be very, very miserable with him because of some of the red flags that he or she gave out, that I may feel uncomfortable. And uh, in your head, it does make sense because the person has money and the money will help you to survive. The person said he will take care of you, he'll buy you whatever you need. And a lot of people fall for it actually, but you gotta realize that that's something I realized, I'm capable of making my own money. I don't need anyone taking care of me unless I really fall in love with the person, and I'll let them do it because I know they will be happy to do it, not because they have to. But you have to have this medium between what your head thinks and what your emotions are, and come up with a solution based on both, not either one, actually.
Well, and I would even go further on that to say it's the feeling first, because your mind can make up stories and excuses and rationalizations and justifications. So if to follow your example of getting married to someone based on safety and security, but you're feeling this sense of dread or like something isn't right, follow that, because your safety and security may not be as buttoned up as your mind thinks it is.
All right, I have a perfect example.
Okay.
So I met her and I asked her out on a date, and her head told Amalia that he's so young, and whatever other excuses or reasons you came up with, which I don't remember. Do you?
Yes.
You want to mention those?
We'll save it for another episode.
All right. So we'll, for the sake of it, we'll just say the age difference was a big no-no for Amalia, but it did make her feel very good, and she wanted some more of that feeling. And a little bit of persuasion and clear and great communication on my behalf, and voila, we're sitting where we are right now. So she did end up listening to her heart, like in the song, listen to your heart. I'm very bad with singing songs, but it is actually lyrics in some song. Maybe it was Cher or whoever it was. You know what song I'm talking about?
No, but we just had this conversation the other day too about song lyrics, and I will admit I was
Yeah.
wrong about the lyrics.
Yeah, you're terrible with it.
Yeah.
So both of us are terrible. Maybe you know what song I'm talking about. But long story short, great things came out by her listening to her heart. I already knew that I'm interested in her, and my head told me that she's really, really hot, and my heart told me that she's a great person to be around with. And I actually enjoyed my time with her. So my head and my heart were aligned. But in your case, there was a disalignment, but you decided to listen to your heart, to your emotions, and worked out greatly.
That's a great example, and that's 100%.
You're welcome.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
Because my head had a bunch of excuses that were saying this is crazy, no, don't do it. But my heart was like, but I want to. I really like him. And so I listened, I followed that. And you were a good communicator and so very persistent.
Very persistent.
And patient.
And
waiting for me to
yes.
like get in the same line.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, pretty much. So, okay. So basically for you, your soul alignment just comes with you being you, just following what feels good, listening to your own inner compass.
Yeah.
Versus that of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which works out great mostly in a relationship with you. Sometimes that doesn't, because your compass and my compass may be going in different directions, and I want your compass to go the same way as mine, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good lesson.
Oh, so you want me to be someone I'm not?
That's what I'm saying. It's a
Very
good.
Interesting.
It's a good practice when you're in a relationship with someone, when your compasses aren't aligned, to find that like sweet spot in the middle. Where can you come together and communicate with each other in order to find a place where you both are happy, right? You both can feel at peace.
I think that's a great way to wrap it up.
Yeah. Hey, this is my show.
Why don't you say it again?
All right. So, Misha, thank you for coming on this special edition of Soulful Sessions, Mindful Men.
Yes.
We're wrapping it up. Thank you so much for joining us. Stop shaking my hand. Thanks so much for joining us on this edition of Soulful Sessions, Mindful Men. Amalia and Misha saying bye for now. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye-bye.